This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewers
about our slightly delayed start to afternoon proceedings. Seems as though there were a few little gremlins that had crept into the system between sunrise safari and the sunset safari. But it's all sorted out now. Conrad and Marcel have ninja chopped them away and gotten rid of them. And as you can see, we are sitting with a lioness from the Olololo Pride. And it's about to rain very, very heavily probably on us. There's a storm all around us and it seems as though it might rain. And hopefully we'll get the lions kind of up and moving. My name is Tristan. On camera I've got Archie, and it is, like I say, a warm welcome to the East African side of the safari. Remember that we are coming to you live, which means that you can ask any questions that you may have, and you can do so using hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or at FC on the YouTube chat. Remember, keep it relevant to what you're seeing on the screen, and we shall try and answer as many as possible. That's the hope, anyway. That's if Kirsty feeds them to us, because it's Kirsty's responsibility and final control to feed them to all of us. But as you can see, the Olololos have moved slightly, so some of them, and it's very interesting because we've been here for probably about, let's say, half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, maybe not that much, half an hour. And it's interesting because we've got two females that are lying here with two males. So you can see that's a female. There's the thunder and lightning and all the other stuff that's coming our way. And then two boys. Now, I have a funny feeling that these two females are in estrus because every time one of the females moves, the boys are immediately up. Their noses are to the ground. There's been lots of phlegm and grimacing, lots of following of females. And I wonder if it's now time that the Olololos start to come into estrus for the first time since they've had their cubs. Remember that there are 4 adult females within this pride, and the 4 females have all had cubs over the course of the last year and a half. And that means that now they'll start to come in. It's a bit early, but they are going to start coming in to estrus cycles. Whether that's false estruses or proper ones is going to be determined. But the males certainly are very interested, and you can see that's the one that's got the missing tip to his tail. So that's the darker maned of the 2 Kichwa males, and then the blonde maned one, well, he's lying with his back to us. If that's not going to hopefully wake up our boys, and it'll be really nice to get after the rain stops. The best thing to see is when a male lion shakes his mane after he's been rained on, because there's just water that gets sprayed everywhere, and it's very cool to see. So like we're about to get absolutely pelted, which we are. It's starting to rain right now, so we're going to have to cover up very, very quickly. And so while we do that, let's send you across to David, who's further down the road, and see what his plans are for the afternoon.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this area of the Mara. It's a little different from where Tristan is, and my name is David, and with me today is Manu. Good afternoon. Very windy where I am, and like where Tristan is, and my destination today is the sausage, to look for the sausage lions. And on the way there, I'm sure there'll be a lot of traffic. We could bump into anything, so stay with us. We can hear thunderstorms at the moment. Nothing very big for now. But remember, as usual, questions, comments, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, as usual, right? Okay, we just need to move because we don't want to be caught by the rains. And before we move, I just want to show you this area that is burnt, which is so beautiful and it's looking magnificently green. And the rains that we have now, which are the short rains, have turned around this area to be a beautiful paradise. Nothing that we can see, because a few months ago this area was full of wildebeest. Is kind of a vegetation that is loved by smaller antelopes called the Thomson gazelles, which translates to a wonderful country also for cheetahs. 2 of our famous cheetahs that in them around this area. The tortured trees, very iconic of the Mara Triangle, but still, even without any animal on it. Sometimes you'll always look like that and see a cheetah pop up. Definitely none at the moment. But you can see all the beautiful green there that I would personally love maybe to walk through. Now, if it gets a bit wet and muddy, the Tommies or any antelopes that could be around this area may want to move away and go to higher grounds, because too much water, too much mud would definitely hurt their hooves. So in the background there, we're thinking we could be getting some very heavy rains. Lots of thunderstorms going on, not sure you can hear them. Is that an ostrich there? Very good, Manu. At least we have been able to capture something on this open area, and that is a female ostrich on the run. Not sure where she is going, where she is coming from, but above all, why she's running. It's beautiful to see ostriches being our largest birds in Africa, maybe in the world. And I'm sure you all know ostriches cannot fly. So the first important defense is speed. Either she's rushing to take care of her chicks or eggs somewhere, I would guess, because as you can see, that speed is on a mission. And you can see how she stands out on the horizon there. Look at the drumsticks that she got. Very good speeds, just like cheetahs. They could do 80 kilometers an hour, 40, 50 miles in an hour. Also, guys, you're saying she's running so fast. Ostrich are very fast. I'm trying to imagine they can run as fast as a cheetah, as they said. And if they have any concern, the first defense is speed. Well, is that a male? If that's a male, then yes. Manu, do you think that's a male? I think that's a male. Manu thinks it's a male, yes. And definitely there's something going on here. And that was a female. And I guess she's just playing hard. And the male is on her heels. Like, where are you going, girl? It's so natural how animals behave here in the wilderness. And definitely that's a male. And when I'm saying the male, when you look at the sexual dimorphism, that's the female, very fast there. Not sure she's interested in the male. Kansik, very good question. How long can they run like that? I have seen an ostrich maintain a speed of about 50 kilometers an hour. What am I talking about? 30 miles an hour for 1 hour non-stop. 30 miles, 50 kilometers an hour for 1 hour non-stop. Very comfortably. Look at that. It's just like the Kenyans when they do the marathon. I'm sure you have seen Kenyans when they run, and there's a huge vulture, I guess, on top of that tree there. And maybe the vulture is just watching these two birds chasing each other. Very good camera work, Manu, there. When you look at the sexual dimorphism of ostriches, they're always in black and white. Females are grayish brown and the males are black and white. So definitely that male is after the female. She just kept going and she is still going, and not sure, even with seeing an elephant feeding there, she is not worried. But I'm thinking that male is interested in that female. Well, they're going to keep going, and we also have to keep going. Hopefully we get to the sausages before the rains come. Very windy here at the moment. But again, as I said, on the way to the sausages, there could be a lot of traffic on the way. We might be meeting lots of animals as we head there. I could be very happy if I could see some cheetahs on the way, and before the rains get where we are, I think Tristan got some rains where he is, and maybe enjoying the lions in the rain.
Well, good luck, David. Hopefully you will find a cheetah before the rains arrive. Rains are slowly heading towards where David is at the moment, so he might get it just now, but it'll, I think, take a bit of a time to get to where he is. But you can see our lions are, well, like we expected, have put their heads up because the rain is starting to fall. And so, lions don't really like getting wet, but unfortunately, here in the Mara, it's part and parcel of daily life, is that you get kind of rained on almost every single day, and that means that they are well used to it. And you can see they just kind of sit there with their heads sort of hung as the rain pelts them. And it will be nice, like I say, when it stops. That's the best time, because as this stops, then they shake that mane off. You can imagine how much water gathers in that mane. The longer the hair, the more water that will kind of get in, and it'll get drenched and soggy. And then you find that they don't like it very much, and so they'll kind of shake it off. But as you can also see, is that pretty much as the rain started, every single one of them lifted up their heads to see what was going on. And it almost seems as though they were intrigued by something. It's a bit tricky to kind of see what's going on because we've got covers down, and so I can't really see much around me other than kind of through this little window that Archie's got, that he's busy kind of showing you now. And then of course just through the windscreen a little bit, but that's obscured by a few cars, so I don't really know what they were watching at first. But that female there, she's not interested. She's tucked in and is hoping that the rain goes away, and I'm pretty sure the others are going to be the same. Now it sounds like that it's easing off a little bit, which is good news. As long as it doesn't rain too hard, it's okay. We've received so much rain in the last few days that it's been quite tricky. It's been not very easy, and poor David, who's been out every afternoon as the really kind of big rains have been around, has had to deal with it, and it's made life tricky in that the roads are very, very wet at the moment. Things are not easy to negotiate in terms of actually following. Found that out and almost got stuck, so luckily we kind of managed to get out. Otherwise, like I said, I never hear the end of that from Leo Smith. He was hoping beyond all hope that I would get stuck, I can imagine, because he was gloating before it even happened. They can hunt when it rains, but this particular pride, don't forget, they are across the road from where we're sitting right now. They still have the remains of 2 buffalo kills that they made not last night, the night before. So there is food that they can go and eat. There's probably not very much left of it by now, but there is. This is only a very small portion of the pride. The pride is 16 or 18 actually, with the 2 males in total, and so only got 4 here. The other sort of 14 of them look as though they're on the other side where the buffalo are, but it's quite a long way away, unfortunately, and deep into the bush where we can't off-road, and so it's a bit tricky to be able to show those ones to you. It's not an easy kind of thing to see. They just look like little dots in the grass, really, more than anything else. But you can see he's thoroughly unimpressed by all of this. His head is down and making sure that he is well tucked in at the moment. Shame, boy. It's a tough being out in the rain. He's a beautiful lion, isn't he, though? He's that dark colour, and even his coat kind of going back from his mane, you can see he's taken on that darker kind of tinge to it. So the blackness of his mane is kind of going through his whole coat, and when lions are really at their best in terms of that kind of dark coloration, their whole sort of body takes on this kind of blue-black sheen at times. And that's when they're really kind of, those are my favorite kind of lions, is when they get that sort of kind of coloration to them. It's generally the really big guys that have got dark manes tend to get the same kind of coloration through. You'll find it, you see it a lot here, and in Kalahari you see it as well, as the manes take on a little bit more of a darker tone than what we see in South Africa. In South Africa they do get a little bit. If you think of Hairy Belly, Matimba, he had that darker coloration, but most of our lions, they're a little bit lighter in colour. And you can see the difference there quite clearly between the female and the male. In the front, he's got a more kind of bluish tinge to his coat, and hers is more of a yellow tinge that she's got on hers. But I'm interested to see, the female that they seem to be most interested in is not the one that's lying close to that male. It's the other female that was kind of buried in the grass. Whenever she moves, both boys kind of respond to her movement and go and sniff around where she's been lying, and I think they're trying to see if she urinated there to be able to get any information that they can as to whether or not she potentially is in an estrus cycle and potentially is kind of ready to be mated with. So whenever she's the one that moves, then the boys respond to that. If she doesn't move, well, then you don't really see too much from them. But the rain has really eased off. I thought we were going to get a lot more rain than that. It sounded a lot more vicious and looked a lot more vicious when we were coming down the hill. We saw this kind of development of clouds, and I thought we were going to get really hammered, but so far we haven't really got too much, although as I say that, it sounds as though it's getting heavier again. Good, we're going to sit with our lions, we'll hunker down with them and give them sympathy from our dry car, and while we do that, let's send you to Wally, who's out and about, and well, he's driving around Djuma.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Safari Live. This is live here in South Africa in Kruger National Park. My name is Oli. My surname is Klo. Joining us behind the camera is Uncle James and Seb from Gabon. Thank you, Seb. At least in the Mara there's rain. We had a lot of rain last week. And now it's hot. Yesterday it was very hot, and today it went up. So our plan for this afternoon is to look for Tingana, the Duke of Djuma. We're from the spot where he was last seen this morning, so he's not there. We haven't seen any fresh tracks. Me and Malum James, which is Uncle James, we took a walk, a little bit of trekking, but it wasn't successful. And when we came back to the vehicle, Seb said he had some barking of an antelope on the other side of the block. So hopefully we will find something. So we're moving, we're trying to make a loop on the other road to see whether maybe there are tracks coming out. It's so difficult to track these kind of cats, especially during this season, because it's thick. You can see the vegetation is getting thick now, the grass getting taller. And for any questions and comments, you can catch us on #SafariLive on Twitter and YouTube chat stream. Oh, Charlotte, what a nice question. Charlotte wants to know what's my favorite animal to track. That's a very difficult question to answer because I've tracked a lot of animals, especially cats. I've tracked cheetahs, I've tracked leopards, I've tracked lions, and a lot of antelopes also. But my favorite animal to track is a lion. Lions, they don't move like a leopard does, because a leopard doesn't go on a straight line. They turn like here and there and there. Oh, I just got lost now. Thank you, Malum James. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. So, talking about tracking, lions, when they move. They don't go around like a leopard to mark territory at all times. They just move straight. And what I like about them, they live in a pride, so you will pick one track to follow. You don't have to follow all the pride, but you have to pick one track and then you move with it, because at the end that track will lead you to the other pride members. I did a lot of trekking while I was at Trek Academy, and it was so nice being there with my lecturer and the other colleagues of mine who were my classmates. So while I was in the Mara, so while I'm busy driving now, looking for Tingane, hoping to find them, let's go to the Mara.
Well, good luck, Oli, and you'll give me some pretty good news if you are going to spot Tingana. But now, I got some parrots here that I got a feeling they either have a nest or there's something they love on that particular tree. I'm being interrupted there by the bear. Now, these are what you call brown parrots, and I got a feeling they either have a nest there. What are you trying to do? Do you want to mate? And they got this very characteristic call, like an anvil hitting a metal that you never miss. It's very sharp. I'm not sure whether I would be able to imitate it, but it's a brown parrot. And they tend to use particular holes of certain trees, any hollow tree they might get. And something tells me they definitely have a home there, or they could be beginning a home, they could be mating, and then the female will be laying her eggs at a particular point there. Very good in eating fruit, especially the wild fig. You can see how windy it is in this area we are in. All right, parrots, tell us, do you want to have a mate? Oh, that's a courtship maybe? Shannon, you said they're very pretty birds. I agree with you 100%. And if you see them in flight, Shannon, you might even love them more, especially if they open their wings. So that other side of that broken tree is where I got a feeling they might be having a nest. So if they have mated, most likely they either got eggs there or small chicks there. Because like every few days when I pass through this bush, I've always seen them where they are. They remind me of the African grey parrot, which for a very long time has been used as pets by people in the world. But nobody have been able to use the brown parrot, which I think is very good. Always wondering how some of these birds get their names. When I look any brown in that bird, I don't see. I only see some little dark and green and yellow. But they'll still call them the brown parrots. The two have separated, and unlike the ostriches that we saw earlier, where I agree with you, Casti in the final control says could be called a greeny fluffy parrot, and that makes a lot of sense because some of the nomenclature of the birds here, well, beautiful. It's very interesting, just like a kite, as we call the black kite, and when you see the black kite, it's all brown. Now this I see more black, more yellow, and more green in it. But for now, we're going to stick with the brown parrots. I'm just wondering if they have any chicks, so the chicks would come out. They have... Lauren, how long do they take to lay the eggs? I think more or less immediately, because once the male fertilizes the female and she knows she's good to go, I would say it should take a couple of days. Not sure for a fact, Lauren, how long that would take, but I'll just give a wild guess and say a couple of days. There's no reason after mating is done to keep holding, the eggs in the body. And once mating is done, the eggs will start developing and drop anything 2 to 4 eggs. That's the number of eggs they might drop, 2 to 4. I'm just trying to remember from the chicken how long it takes once we see our normal hens and cockerels back in the village, how long they take before they start laying eggs. It's a good position for you, parrots. Why don't you show us your nest and if you have any chicks? And it's very difficult for them to come out until they're able to fledge. Some of the challenges they face are what we call the African harryhawk, some big birds of prey, some raptors, which are able to stand like 90 degrees on these trees, and they can just wriggle and twist their knees and turn around and just reach the holes of these parrots here. Very difficult to tell. I'm just guessing both of them is a pair, a male and a female. And again, as just I was saying earlier about the ostrich, where you can easily tell males from females. Some of these birds, like the parrots here, it's almost impossible to tell who is the boy and who is the girl. I've always said, unless you're lucky to see them mating, then you'll know the one on top, chances are, would be the male, and the one being mounted is the female. Rather a tough call. And they also tend to blend in very well with the green leaves on that tree there. And I'm more convinced now than before that they definitely have a nest there. And keeping an eye or coming there every couple of minutes, because every time, as I said, when I pass here, see them here, they must be like guarding their nest, which may be having eggs or chicks. And once they have that, they don't want to stay very far. We get sometimes some snakes that will come all the way up looking for eggs or chicks. Well, starting to see a bit of rains coming where we are. So what we're going to do, we will move on so that if this rain is going to catch, if Manu may move forward, let us just show the viewers the amount of rain or the wall of storm coming to us. If you see to your right, Manu, you can see how much rain we might be getting in the next couple of minutes, and maybe I'll suggest we are going to put down one side of our flap. We want to put down some of the flaps, maybe on the one right side, because that's the direction the rain is coming from. And it has been very erratic, the rain for here. And at the moment, we already started to getting some drops. So we're going to go to a nice area where we can easily bring down the flaps before this rain catches us. We always got very expensive equipment in the car that we'll always need to protect. But the good news is we have got into the Sausage Republic, so we'll be looking for them anytime from now, and any place from here moving that direction is one area they have hanged or they have stayed for a very long time without changing the location. We saw them yesterday. The cubs were so playful, and there's one particular female I've been following, which I've been waiting for all the good news if she'd pop up her cubs. Not yet. Instead of seeing the Sausage Republic, you're seeing one impala. Well, she's off. So as I'm going to put maybe my flaps down on one side of the car, I'm trying to imagine Oli is doing anything possible to track Tingana.
Yes, for sure. I'm still looking for Tingana, but there's no luck yet. And sorry for the rain there. Hopefully you're keeping yourself dry in the Mara. There's a lot happening here while I'm driving around. I just seen a dike, a common dike on the other side. I went to the thicket. I wanted to show you guys, but it was quick. So there's a lot of bird activities around here. I'm at the dry riverbed, which is called Umlwamati. Umlwamati, it's a Shangani name, which means fighting water. Yeah, I'm correct, fighting water. James just corrected me. He said, yeah, he agreed with me that this is Umlwamati, which means fighting water. My Shangan is getting good. Roseland, what a question, what a question. Like, are these animals hot while this weather is so hot? Is the right question? I think I got it right. Yes, I think they're hot, but they are keeping it cool because how do they feel this hot weather? I think they find it nice because we had a lot of rain, so there's a lot of water, there's a lot of shade because there's a lot of vegetation growing now. So they're keeping it cool. Summer is great. It's not like winter. I'm not saying I don't prefer winter, but as you know, winter we have to wear jerseys all the time, so they have to be on the sunlight all the time, basking there, trying to warm up. So now they're keeping it cool to be in the shade. So I'm looking for Tingana, but I think I have to show you guys my favorite tree, one of my favorite trees, which is, take a guess, Tamboti. Yes, Tamboti. I'd like you guys to know a little more about this tree because it's one of the trees that is very poisonous. This is the tree. I don't know whether Sep, is it good? It's fine. Thank you. Yes, this is the tree which is called the Tamboti. I will go out just now. Tamboti tree. So it's I really hoping to have a leaf or something there, but it's not advisable because the latex in there, it's poisonous. So I have to be very careful when I'm around this tree. And it's not advisable for you guys to make a braai using the wood from this tree because it will harm you very bad because you'll have a runny tummy, or it might be worse. Maybe you have to require to go to the hospital or clinic or might see a doctor. But the great part about this tree is this, that they grow around dry riverbeds. They grow as, like, I can say as a family because we find a lot of them around here. And what I love about this tree is this, most of them around this tree you normally don't find any vegetation, but here there's vegetation because the latex that drops from the top part to the ground is poisonous, so it kills everything that's around the tree. I can talk the whole day about this tree, so let me go back to the vehicle and search for Hosanna. Hopefully not Hosanna, Hosanna, Tingana. I'm sorry about that, because Hosanna has been seen yesterday, so my mind is still with Hosanna because I'd love to see Hosanna. It's been a while since I've seen the cat. So Tingana, I don't think he's much active because it's still hot. And I don't think he has moved far from where he was last seen. Oh, it's hot today. I've applied some sunscreen before the drive. Just, oh, yeah, interesting. Yes. Okay. While I'm still driving, hopefully I'll get something. Let's go to Tristan in the Mara in the rain.
Well, as you can see, we had just thought the rain was stopping. We just zipped up all of our covers to make sure that everything was going to be okay. And, well, it's just kind of, well, not zipped up, but kind of rolled up our covers. And all of a sudden it started thumping down with rain once again. So it looked as though it was all clear and that we were okay, but it's just swung around now. And we are getting drenched once again. Now you can see the blonde male has moved quite close to us. And has now come very, very close to where we are. The two lionesses have actually moved off. They've completely kind of disappeared. They've gone up towards where the buffalo carcasses are, and these two boys have been left behind, and neither of them looks very happy about the water that's hitting them in the head at the moment. You can see their manes are starting to get very soggy, the way that they're kind of folding down on their top of their heads. That's always an indication that a male lion is starting to kind of get quite drenched on his head itself. So when the mane starts to hang like that, that is always kind of tells you. So not happy at all. That particular male does not look like he is enjoying this. And I can tell you that the rain is quite cold, because now that I've rolled up the covers on one side, I'm getting wet too. And it is a little bit on the chilly side, but it's okay. At least it's not raining kind of straight down, so we're not getting too damp. But yes, the two of them do not look impressed. If looks could kill, that would be a look of a very unhappy cat. The other one in front here is also not looking that good. He's kind of sitting there and saying, really, is this what my life has been reduced to? Look at that. Not happy. Shame, boy. Are you wet? You can actually see how damp his sides and his back are. Completely kind of wet. And I mean, it is raining fairly hard now, and so I'm not surprised that the two of them are looking the way that they are. They don't look their beautiful best right now, but I'm hoping that they're going to stand up, and when they stand up, that they give their manes the biggest shake ever. Christine, he does look a bit bedraggled. If you compare him to what he looked like yesterday, when he looked so... Now the lions are roaring. Wait, let's see if the males respond. So the females are calling. Let's see if the boys roar back. Come on, boys, do it for us, both of you. It's tricky to hear it, unfortunately, over the rain on the roof, but the females did just call. That's why the male kind of sat so bolt upright like he did. And I'm hoping that they are going to respond. He's going to get up and move, and unfortunately he's going to go right to where Archie's not going to be able to film him. There's kind of coming straight at us, and you can see we still have our sort of rain cover half down, so we've got that kind of this down and the sort of roof part, and he's going to walk sort of between us. But there comes the other male, who's going to walk directly at us. I think the girls calling has been a sort of wake-up call for both of them to start actually moving. Oh, there we go. Did you see he shook his mane and all the water that came off? How cool was that? That was very cool. So unfortunately though, what this means is that these boys are going to be going back to those kills, which is not ideal for us, because it means we're going to lose view of them very quickly. well, not view of them, but we're not going to be able to really watch them as much as I was hoping for. We were hoping that they would kind of move in a much better way, but they're not going to. Now, it's also going to be very tricky because we've got all our covers down. I'm going to have to try and maneuver in a way that we can actually see what's going on. The other problem that I have is that we have a whole bunch of cars that have parked us in on the left side, so now we have to wait for them to all go past and kind of move out of our way before we can do anything. So until then, you're going to stare at our delightful windscreen that you can see has got some beautiful cracks in it. Thank you, Scott Dyson, for sleeping on our windscreen and making it look the way it does. Now, are you going to go past, or are you just going to stay there? Come on. Now, I don't know what this guy wants to do, but he's not really doing anything except kind of irritating me, to be honest. Can I go back there, Arch? Right, so Arch says I can go back, which is good news. Nancy, why doesn't the lion go under a tree? Quite simple, Nancy, is that under the trees there are still big droplets that form and still fall on your head, and so not ideal if you're a lion to be able to be under a tree. You need to be anywhere, really. It's going to be wet no matter where they go at this stage of the game, so unfortunately for them, it's a case of just where's the lesser of two evils, under a tree or out in the open. Either way, they're going to get rather damp. But they've stopped nicely for us there so that we can at least still see them. One is having a bit of a drink, the other male is still phlegm grimacing, so he's looking and scenting around there and just kind of smelling and seeing maybe, just maybe, there is a female that is in. Them didn't draw back. I was expecting to hear the two of them make a bit of a noise, but aren't they impressive males? You'll see now when they kind of come together that they are beautiful, beautiful boys. Very pretty. That dark maned male is a beast. He's a good looking fella and not small as well. You can see the missing tip of his tail that makes him easy to identify. It's not hard at all. The kind of little fluffy part is gone. And then his brother at the back, well, he's got a missing, I say brother, but I assume that they're brothers. They could just be coalition partners, and so that one at the back has got the sort of missing bottom right canine and is far more blonde in coloration than his counterpart. But off they go. They're going to go and join the others at the buffalo kill. They're heading straight in that direction. So I wonder, I'm just trying to think if there's going to be a place where we're going to be able to see them nicely. Are you guys going to lie down there? Oh, a little bit of coalition bonding. And they might groom each other just to get rid of a lot of the water, which will be quite nice to see. You can see lots of head rubbing. That's all just to bond. Now I'm trying to see if there's going to be a car that's going to stop right in front of us, isn't there? Yeah, no, thankfully not. He decided to move on, which is good news for us. Now the two of them will probably stop there and end up just grooming each other and having a bit of a lie down. Look at that. Now they're going to roll around. The two of them seem to be very affectionate. I'm going to quickly see if I can just get round so that we are not blocked, because we're going to be blocked. In fact, we just were completely blocked by a car, which is fairly typical. So we're just going to move along, say hello to the rangers quickly. Now, Kirst, is there any chance you can just go off so we can just chat to these guys quickly? Oh, no, there we go. So it's fine, they just need to give some money to somebody. Hi guys, how are you doing? Good, 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 good. Let me go forward. There we go. So it just quickly had to just give a quick transfer of money to one another, and so that's all sorted, and now we can carry on. But while we kind of reposition and find ourselves a better spot, let's send you across to Ngoli and see where exactly he is and whether he's had any luck with Tingana.
No luck yet, but I'm hopeful, yes I am, to find Tingane. So Juma this week has been filled with mating cats. The lions are mating, the leopards are mating. I've heard that in Kanyeni and Quarantine are mating. I haven't seen Quarantine or Kanyeni, but I have a little bit to tell about them, especially for the new viewers or person who might not know about Quarantine and Nkanyeni. Nkanyeni is a young chap. I think it's his first time to mate this year, I think. So he was born in 2013. No, not Nkanyeni, I'm sorry about that. Quarantine is a male leopard which was born 2013. That means he's 5 years old this year. It's his first time or second time to mate, because leopards start to mate around 5 years, especially the males. He's a son from Kurula and Mvula. So his spot pattern, it's 3-3. And then we have Nkanyeni, the female leopard. I haven't seen her yet. His spot pattern is 4-4. She's 12 years of age. She was born 2006. So what's happening here? Well, let me stop a little bit, because I'm seeing something in the sky there. Seb, do you see something there?
Yeah.
I think this is a bird of prey. Yes, it is a bird of prey. Looking from such a distance, I think this is a Wahlbeck's. I think this is a Wahlbeck's eagle, because you can see sometimes a Wahlbeck's eagle, when it flies, especially when it's on flight, I call it a flying cross. Let me show you a Wahlbeck's eagle, if maybe you might be interested. A second, please. Eagles, EFG, eagles. A second, please. Eagles, a flying cross 186. Wahlbeck's eagle. I'll show you Wahlbeck's eagle just now. Yes, here's a Wahlbeck's eagle. Can you find it, Sip?
Yeah.
Here's a Wahlbeck's eagle. It's number 2, the one that's down here. This is Wahlbeck's eagle. It comes in different colors, because I've seen an adult which is white like this, and brown and black. We can find tawny one to brownish, and we can find a little bit almost black. We have a breeding pair here in Djuma. These are the migrants. They come this side to breed during summer months. Simply means they are common summer residents. What a nice bird. Hope everyone has seen a Wahlbeck's eagle. I call it a flying cross because it folds its tail like this, and then the wings straight like this. So it's a cross when it's, you see something like a cross when it's in the air there. So this bird of prey, we can rely on them when looking for cats, because they can see the carcasses, yes, from a distance. So here we have the impalas while we're searching for Tingana. He's looking at us. This is an adult male. As you can see, his ears up and sensing something. Maybe we might be lucky to see Tingana. Oh, here's the second one. Hello, guys. Are you good? I just lifted his head. It simply means saying hello back. I'm here live in the Sabi Sand. They are busy feeding, and I've seen the young ones around these days. So while I'm looking at these impalas, let us go to Tristan with an animal that feeds on these impalas.
Well, these lions, I think, would not really care too much if an impala was around at the moment. They are not too phased by much, but you can see that's where the rest of the pride is. They're way up on the hill, dragging a tail around by the looks of things, and then in the foreground are the two boys looking ever so regal. As I suppose. Now, I wonder if he's... Yes, lie down. That's better. Although now you've got your back to us. But they'll roll around. They'll probably do a little bit of cuddling. The two of them seem to like to bond. The first time I saw them when I got back here, they were having a little bit of a bonding moment where they collapsed on each other and kind of rolled around and flattened a bush, and so I'm sure we'll see similar kind of behavior from them as they sort of do the same kind of thing. But they are beautiful. Look at that kind of dark in the main, sort of contrasting against the greens. It's very, very pretty. I think beautiful boy is our male. Hopefully though they will stay where they are, because otherwise if they move too far it's going to be a bit of a problem. Tonight we have to do a rehearsal for our SABC shows, and I may have not done this very well because they are going to be outside of our infrared range, and so I'm probably going to have to go and find something else. But in this wet weather I thought we might as well have some look at lions, and then I kind of got caught up in the sighting and didn't leave, so it's my own fault really. But anyway, we'll try and maybe see if we can get to North Clandenne. That'll probably be the easiest thing to go to and try and find. But anyway, you can see there they're still feasting, so most of the lions are on what remains of the second buffalo, the first buffalo in the foreground. And they seem to have finished the first one, so the second one is now getting absolutely hammered, and there's really not too much in the way of meat left on that one. It's difficult to tell though, I suppose, at this distance. I mean, we're so far away that who knows what's left of that. Project Alpha, no, I actually haven't seen the two of them mate with one another in a bonding practice. So often you do see it with male lions, for those of you that are not aware, that males often will mount each other. It's not actually that they full on mating, it's more that they just kind of mount each other, and it's this kind of bonding that takes place. But I haven't seen it between these two, given also that I have really not spent very much time with these two males, if I'm honest. When I was here last time, they were very, 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 very low down on the animals that we were trying to find, just because they spend 99% of their time in the non-off-roading area. It makes it incredibly difficult to actually spend time with them, because they generally are far away and we can't really get close to them and we can't really follow them around, and so it makes it a little bit tricky. So my kind of experience and the amount of time I've spent with them is so little that they might do it. I just haven't witnessed it myself. I mean, I'm not sure if any of the other guys have. Maybe David is a good one to ask. He's probably been seeing these guys for quite some time, and he'll have a good idea as to whether or not they do it, but I certainly haven't seen it yet. Now you can see it's cleared a little bit to the north of where we are, and so where the storm came was, well, where it came from was there, but it's now moved off to the right. And what I want to do is I'm just going to try and turn the vehicle just ever so slightly so Archie can show you what the storm looks like, because it's absolutely beautiful on my right hand side. Oh, Archie, I've got cars as well, sorry. I'm not doing very well for you here, but essentially the storm is kind of rolling across there and you can just see the tip of it. Unfortunately the cars are kind of in the way, but that's what just came over us now and was raining down on us and seems to be kind of moving off and sort of shifting into the national park side of things. So that's where the sort of green belt there is the river, and that's the storm kind of shifting over that side. But what happens here in the Mara is just when you think that you're safe and that storm is gone, it turns around and comes back and bites you very nastily and gets you very wet very quickly and can be a bit of a handful. And so we've had storms like that pretty much every day this week, and it's been raining a lot. We even had hail yesterday, like I was saying this morning, up on the escarpment. It was hailing, and it wasn't very big stones, but there was some, and it gives you an idea of how kind of ferocious some of these storms can be. Oh, somebody just hit a rock. It's not going to do well on their diff at all. Oopsie. But now actually, Archie, now we can do it properly because all the cars have left us alone, so we can show you guys the storm quite nicely. It's not really what you want to do as somebody that drives around. You don't really want to, on a sort of live safari, be the one that hits a rock and makes a whole bunch of noise. Sarah, you're asking, will the males stay together when the females are in estrus, or should they stay together? That depends on different males. Sometimes you'll find some will follow females around and kind of be together, but when the mating actually starts, so the mating kind of kicks off, that's when you're going to see a very big change, in that the one male won't tolerate the other one, and they'll probably separate off a little bit and do their own thing. What will hopefully happen in this case is that there'll be two females, and then the boys won't fight because they'll each have a female of their own, and that means that they don't have to actually argue with one another. But that's seldom the case. Seldom do we see two males getting lucky at the same time, and so you're probably, in all likelihood, going to see that one will end up separating off with the female and going off on his own accord and doing his own thing, and will not actually kind of interfere. But look at that storm cell. Isn't that pretty? Pretty when you're not underneath it. When it's over there and you can hear the thunder in the distance and a bit of lightning every now and then. It really is amazing, the formations of cloud and rain that you get to see in the Mara. Lily, you say you love the cloud formations. Well, like I say, the Mara, if you like cloud formations, Mara has got to be one of the best places for cloud formations in the world. It gets the most epic cloud formations ever. You get really crazy storms that come through and cause all kinds of havoc, but they just ever so beautiful, if I'm honest. They sometimes, if you get lucky, you'll get a storm like this and the sun will just sit just below it, and then you get these rays that come through this kind of rainy patch and the sky goes this purple orange kind of color. Absolutely incredible. So for me, one of the best things about the Mara is the skies that you get here. They are phenomenal. In both sunrise and sunset, you can get some very, very special kind of sightings. Good. We'll probably stay with our lions for a little bit longer, just to start the school drive that's going to be starting just now, so the kids can get to see some lions, and then we're going to leave. But before we do that, let's send you back to Oli, who's still bumbling about.
Oh, magpie shrike. A magpie shrike there. Serp, can you see it? There on top. Today I think it's another birding afternoon, because my last drive was full of birds. This is a magpie shrike, which was called a long-tailed shrike. I don't know why they've changed it. Maybe they have a reason too. So I would love to make its call, because I think I know its call. Let me listen to this. Listen to this. Am I right, Madhu? Mm-hmm. I think that's the right call. This is a magpie shrike, which it lives in a flock, mostly from 2 to 6. I've seen them in small flocks. They feed on insects. And what confuses me about this bird is its tail and its nest. I've seen its nest. It's a cup nest in a tree, and what really confuses me is that how do they survive? How do they camouflage there? Because the tail is there, it's out, it's exposed, and the color is not camouflaging from the vegetation. So I don't know how it survives, but we have magpie shrikes. It means they can survive. So let me drive forward and see whether I'll find Tingana. I'm driving to Buffalo Dam. And sorry guys, I've made a mistake about the Wolbeck's eagle. I've said it's a bird that feeds on carcasses and stuff. So a Wolbeck's eagle, we rely on it to get the predators, because it alarms when it sees a predator. It doesn't go for a predator or where the predator is. And its alarm call, I think I can mimic it. It goes like... I'm getting there. I'm really getting there. So I'm rushing to Buffalo Swoop Dam. Maybe we might find something there, or maybe fresh tracks, or see Hosanna maybe drinking because it's hot. They normally chill. for Tingana, where are you? So while I'm looking at Tingana, hopefully you will see something on Buffalo Swoop Dam. Let's go to Tristan with the lions.
And that right there is the most epic thing in the whole world. Did you see all the steam coming out of their mouth as they were breathing? It's gotten so much cooler after the rain that as they letting out all of that air, it's so hot that they get this kind of steam that's coming out. That was super cool and exactly what we had been hoping for. So the females started, and then these boys were the ones that let it out after that. Awesome. And I'm so glad we managed to get it, because I was a bit worried with the kind of the delays and things like that, that we might miss it. But luckily, the male on the right, who's lying down roaring, he was the lazy male, he only started much later than the females and even the male on the left, and so we got a nice long roar out of it, which is so cool. I'm glad, like I say, that we stayed and we waited it out, even if we don't find something for our rehearsal and I get a slap on the wrist. It was worth it for that. That was super cool. I hope that you guys all enjoy it as much as I did. That was really epic. Mr. Chips, you said that was fantastic. Well, yes, it was fantastic, wasn't it? It's the best sound to hear, and especially when you're at a close proximity and you've got males around, because the males, the sound just travels, and the noise that comes from these guys is unbelievable. I mean, if you can imagine what you guys hear on your thing, imagine being here in person. You kind of have that reverberation that comes towards you. Now I see the one male is sitting up again, or the one that was sleeping, he's sitting up again, and so I wonder if he's going to, or both of them are going to now get up and start moving back towards the rest of them. I'm hoping that some of the pride comes this way and then they'll actually stay still. But you can see, look how muddy his face is from rolling around on the ground. Nope, that's them moving off. Right, now we're going to be changing over to our school drive, and so we're going to have a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Hopefully you'll stay with us for the school drive. It's still educational and still going to be very cool, and so we're going to quickly do that, and we'll see you shortly.